Hello, friends, and happy Straturday. Psyberry here with another Darkest Dungeon How to Use guide. Real quick before we get started, thanks for tuning in. I am currently striving to reach 1,000 subs as quickly as possible, and as such, this channel would greatly benefit from your subscription, regardless of how often you watch my content. So if you'd be so kind, subscribe down below, hit the like button, and share this guide with a friend. I would greatly appreciate your support. Also, we're on the cusp of the early access release to Darkest Dungeon 2, and if it all works out, I should have some playthrough content for that when the moment comes, and the stars align. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Let's do this. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into how to play the Rudiment. I do not have a level 0 Rudiment currently, unfortunately, but this one will have to do. The release date of the Rudiment was September 30th, 2021, last updated October 7th of 2021. The canon name of the Rudiment, well, no one really knows. Pardon me, only the creator knows. Otherwise, the credits, Laphos did the concept, gameplay, programming, and the writing, Ouroboros did the art, and then Ouroboros and Laphos did the animations together, and Ouroboros and Cleo1714 did the sound effects. So, without any further ado, let's just dive into the base stats. The max HP is actually going to start rather high at a 38 at opening resolve, and progress to a 70 at final resolve. This is off the charts high. It's higher than Leper and Crusader, by a little bit at the beginning, and they go up by roughly 8 HP per level, so they go up a little quicker than the Crusader or Leper would as well. So the Rudiment is going to be exceptionally tanky. Now the dodge is actually going to start out at a 1 at opening resolve, and it's going to have a custom progression to it. It's going to go up to a 3 at second resolve, a 6 at third, a 10 at fourth resolve, and a 15 at the final resolve. This is what I would consider to be a rather low dodge stat. Below average is that 0 to 20 range. So the fact that it starts with a 1 is a bonus, but it doesn't go up very fast, and it doesn't even go up in increments of 5 until high level. With all that being considered, he actually only misses out on about 10 or even 5 dodge, depending on if you want to compare him to a below average or an average unit. So it's not terrible, but it's not the best dodge in the world. Prod is a 0. The speed is going to go up custom as well. It's going to start out at a 1 at opening resolve. It will progress to a 2 at third resolve, and then at fourth resolve it will progress to a 4, and at final resolve it progresses to a 5. So at outset, this is a low speed. It's similar to like the Crusader, but once you get to that level 4, level 5 range, you're actually going to have average speed like a man-at-arms would have, or an arbalist would have. So actually, he has vast improvements at high level based on the speed alone, and that is significantly beneficial to him as a character. The accuracy mod is a 0, as you would expect. The crit is going to start out at a 1%, and it will progress all the way up to a 4% at top level. There is no crit gain between level 4 and 5. It will stay at 4%. Otherwise, this is the same as a Vestal or a Leper as far as crit is concerned. It's on the low end. It's the lowest of the normal crit percentage bonuses. But you could still see significant crits if you give him proper quirks, or equip his trinkets in such a way, or just based on what combat skills you're going to use. And finally, the damage is going to start out at 7 to 12 at opening resolve, and will progress all the way to a 13 to 21 at final resolve. This is a rather high damage output. It's somewhere in between the Abomination and the Leper as far as damage at each of these levels. and it is custom, so it's going to be customized throughout. But you can see significant damage output depending on what moves you use and how you use the Rudiment. He's going to put out some considerable damage. So let's just go straight into the combat skills from here and start talking about the meat and potatoes. The first of the combat skills is his generic attack, Heavy Impact. This is only usable from rank 1 and will target rank 1 or 2 enemies. It's a melee attack with an accuracy base of 90, a damage modifier of plus 10%, and a crit mod of plus 8%. This comes with a knockback of 2 ranks. Keep in mind that accuracy base of 90, this is a level 4 character. So that is about 15 accuracy less than you really want to see at this level. So keep in mind this isn't going to hit a ton. This has a chance of missing. Don't go spamming this on high dodge enemies if you can avoid it. It can be a problem in that way. The rest of his moves don't seem to, if I remember correctly, have a huge accuracy issue, but this one is a little bit inaccurate for that high potent damage. The second ability is Rage and Fear. Rage and Fear is usable from rank 1 or 2 and can target any enemy rank. It's a ranged attack with an accuracy base of 105, a damage modifier of negative 100%, and no crit modifier. This is going to bypass stealth, so they can't hide from this. And this will have a stun percentage of 130% base at this level, so it's about 10% less than a normal stun, like a potent stun would be from any other class. It's also going to bypass stealth, though, keep that in mind. And this will also shuffle that target single if target is at rank 1 or 2 with 130% base. So if they're in the front ranks, there's a chance this is going to shuffle them around and mix them around. In exchange, this is going to debuff yourself, minus 16% prot, and your crits received chance will go up by 5% for the next 3 rounds. So you make yourself a little bit more vulnerable in order to kind of get past stealth a little bit, stun that guy, buy some time until that stealth runs out, and maybe even move him around the party a bit. The third ability is Terrible Song. This is only usable once per battle, from ranks 2 or 3, and targets all enemy ranks. This is a ranged attack with an accuracy base of 110, a damage modifier of negative 100, and no crit modifier. This is going to stun the targets with 130% base, which is the normal efficiency standard for this level. Also, was that one? My bad. And this has a chance to stun yourself for 140% base. This is also going to reduce the Rudiment's stress by 20. It's going to lower some of the stats, going to lower the Rudiment's damage by 15%, and prot by 20% for 3 rounds. And other heroes have a 50% chance of stressing out for 15 stress. So the Rudiment here is remembering the song, and it's going to sing it now to basically have a good chance of stunning all these enemies, but also a good chance of stunning himself. This is going to stress out your allies. Overall, this is, if you don't mind him missing out on a little bit of tankiness on the outset, this is not a bad way to stun folks, and it's very efficient. Like the only other everyone stun move I'm aware of, you either have to hook up situations in your benefit, or it has the possibility of also stunning your allies. So this is actually a good AoE stun that, honestly, if I can get away with it, I use this a ton. Fourth ability is Perilous Flesh, usable from rank 1 or 2, and can target rank 1, 2, or 3 enemies. This is a melee attack with an accuracy base of 105, a damage modifier of -50%, and a crit mod of +8%. This is going to activate Riposte on yourself. At this level, it's -68% damage. So these are like approaching maybe half potency Riposte attacks, which isn't bad, especially when he's got such a high damage output as it is. They're actually pretty comparable to mid-level Highwayman Ripostes, that kind of thing. And the Riposte effect is actually going to be a blight on the target you hit with 130% base and 4 points a round for 3 rounds. So this is a good setup of Riposte. I personally prefer Riposte attacks. They also are an attack on a target while you're setting that up. It's just good for action economy. This is a really good attack because of this. The Riposte is a little bit short-lived. It'll last 2 actual effective rounds. So you're going to be, if you want to keep the Riposte up, you're going to be cycling back to this every other round. Fifth combat skill, Who is Creator, is usable once per battle. From rank 1, 2, or 3, this will move the Rudiment forward 1 rank, and it will guard an ally that you select for 1 battle. So the entirety of the battle, you're going to hook up a guard, you're going to take damage for that ally. You are going to mark yourself as a target, you're going to add 26% to your own prot, and minus 28% damage when you're guarding. This will also give you 1 block, 1 Aegis block, like the Shield Breaker gets. This is a really good guard ability, because you're also marking yourself as a target. If you are using this with Perilous Flesh, you're going to have Riposte, Guard, and Self-Mark while you're prot tanking, and you have an Aegis block. So this is going to be really useful in that scenario. The 6th ability is Phlebotomy, usable from rank 1, 2, or 3, and will target every enemy rank. This is a ranged attack with an accuracy base of 100, a damage modifier of -80%, and a crit mod of +8%. Now, as an AoE with a crit mod of 8%, you're going to get a crit a decent amount of times on this, and it does by default do damage, so you're going to be doing that, as well as a Blight at 130% base, 5 points a round for 3 rounds. You, the Rudiment, are going to heal 18 HP, which grows as you level up as well, but you do have a chance of affecting the other heroes in your party. They could be blighted at 120% base for 4 points a round for 3 rounds. They cannot be critted by this, so don't worry about that. Skill cooldown. So, Phlebotomy is not going to be usable again until 2 other rounds have gone by. So you can kind of stack this in, maybe set it and then forget it until the end of the battle. If round 4 pops up, or 3, or whatever it would be, you might use it again. But overall, this is a good way to start combats if Blight is your concern. And the final combat skill is Excellence. Usable from rank 1 or 2, this targets both rank 2 and 3 enemies. It's a melee attack with an accuracy base of 90, a damage modifier of -35%, and a crit mod of -1%. This is going to reduce the blight resistance of those enemies by 30%, with 130% base for 3 rounds. So this is good for those folks who are resisting your blight attacks. It's also a good way to kind of AoE slap a couple people in the middle of the party. -35% damage is actually pretty potent still when you consider his high damage overall. And the fact that you're doing, 65% to 2 different targets. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. So, real quick, let's look through the camping skills. in their entirety. You'll notice that all of them are custom camping skills, and he has 7, so we're going to look through those. First, which is Resonance. This is a time cost 3 camping skill. You yourself are going to heal for 10 stress, and all your companions, if they are not religious, are going to receive 20% less stress for the next 4 battles, and heal 15 stress right off the bat. So this is good for non-religious parties, similarly to like how the Vestal's abilities are good for religious parties. So I find this is very, very useful because there are slightly more non-religious units in the game than religious units. So this is good for those kind of parties in general, and it's a good stress healer. The second camping skill is Curiosity. It's time cost 2, and this is going to produce a random quantity of gold. I shouldn't say random, there are some preset values that it could unlock for you. But overall, this is actually pretty useful. If you're pretty much done camping, you got everything useful done, this is not a bad way to use a couple of time cost. Third camping skill is Game of Chance. Time cost 3. One companion is going to remove Blight and have a 50% chance of other effects. 50% chance of plus 55% Blight resistance for the next 4 battles. Minus 35% of stress damage for 4 battles. Minus 55% to their debuff resistance, however, for 4 battles. Or minus 20% max HP for 4 battles. So this is gonna pretty randomly, as you can see, affect the abilities of that ally, but it could basically save them from a heart attack or a affliction chance, or it could just save them from being blighted over and over, especially if you are targeting somebody who has the weakest blight resistance in your team. You could luck into that, and thus your phlebotomy won't cripple them all the time. The fourth camping skill is Restless. It's time cost 3. You are going to prevent nighttime ambush for this, and the Rudiment is going to recover 7 stress. However, all companions are going to stress out for 10. So this is not bad. This is a very efficient, as far as time cost is concerned, prevent nighttime ambush skill. And I find that it's well worth the 10 stress damage you're going to do to them, assuming you're not in a very bad stress condition when you use it. A lot of times, if I have the points, or I want to start out the camp skill like that, I will start with Restless, put a little stress on everybody, heal the Rudiment stress a bit, get that nighttime ambush taken care of, and then I'll go straight to Resonance and heal more for the Rudiment and get rid of all that stress on everybody else. But to do that, you will need a non-religious party, primarily. The fifth camping skill is Armor Polishing. This is time cost 3. You select the Rudiment, and he's going to add 15% to his prot and 4 to his speed for the next 4 battles. I find he loves these stats. We'll get into a little bit of those on the speed later, but prot is obviously a very good choice for this class, and if you were going to stack that with, say, a Trinket, or you're going to be using Who is Creator to give yourself prot, it's very efficient. The sixth camping skill is Poisonous Blood. This is time cost 4, and you're going to only affect the Rudiment himself. He's going to add 30% to his Blight resistance, 50% to his Bleed resistance, and 40% to his Disease resistance for the next 4 battles, as well as he is going to take 20% more stress damage for those 4 battles. This is not bad if those are your considerations, if you feel like he's going to get a disease or whatnot, or bleed or blight. I find that there are other ways to counteract this, primarily because he works really well with the Plague Doctor, and honestly, you don't really need blight or bleed resistance with the Plague Doctor. You can just get rid of it. So Frequently, I don't end up using this, but that's because I use the Plague Doctor a ton. So, for you, mileage may vary. And the 7th camping skill is Regeneration. This is time cost 5, and it is incredibly useful for the Rudiment themselves. The Rudiment is going to heal 50% of their HP, remove Blight, Bleed, or any disease, and also remove mortality debuffs. Time cost 5 is really steep, but for what this does, there is not another more potent version of this in existence. Healing half your HP is really, really, really good on a tank class like this. Removing diseases and mortality debuffs is pretty peak, actually. Let's see, what else do we need to know about the Rudiment here? His crit effect is going to debuff the target that got critted for their blight resistance, and it's also going to inflict a blight on that foe with a 200% base. And I believe that extra blight is 4 points over 2 rounds. So if your attack that critted them also did blight, this will stack with that. So if you were going to hit phlebotomy for 5 points a round, and some unlucky sap, or maybe 2 unlucky saps because of that high crit mod, get critted, they are actually going to be blighting for 9 points for the first 2 rounds, and then 5 on that last one. So it's actually really, really potent, and his crits, if you can make them happen, are really efficient at basically blighting foes down, because that 200% base is going to activate a lot on even pretty blight-resistant enemies. So he's actually going to help you a lot there, in that regard. Let's see, some party composition thoughts on him. He's a great defender, as you can assume. He's a good prot class in that way. His riposte is going to make him very efficient at killing while defending folks. And he's also a good blight setter and has a lot of synergy in that way for blight. Even the most troublesome targets can be blighted with, something like his crit or an efficient trinket and phlebotomy. So he's got a lot of considerations in that regard that make him good in those kind of parties that need those roles. Some quirks to consider. I believe that the stats you should buff up with quirks are primarily going to be stuff like prot, his damage, potentially, depending on how you're using him, his speed, also depending on how you're using him. And I personally like to buff up that dodge, that weak point, and try and get it as close to or above average myself. Those are things I would buff with quirks. So you're kind of looking for things like Warrior of Light, because he is a mixed melee and ranged attacker. You're going to be looking for Warrior of Light or Lurker, depending on your light conditions. Hard-Skinned is going to be an instant lock on this kind of a character. Luminous, for me, I would lock that instantly, and I would be looking for Corvin's Grace. That speed, that's why Luminous is so important, is if you are using him as a riposte and guard unit, the quicker you can set that up, the better, right? So he's going to benefit from high speed. So at high level, his average speed is going to be much, much buffed by the fact that you're going to add it through quirks. Now, let's get into his trinkets real quick. This mod comes with 9 trinkets. I do not have all 9 trinkets. I think I have like 6. But this will have to do. First of which we're going to look at is the Time Shift Fragment. This is going to ignore stealth, and it's going to add 4 speed and 5 accuracy to the Rudiment. In exchange, you're going to lose 30% of your stun skill chances. So I like this as a trinket. It's very good for stealthing considerations, and I generally love the +4 speed on this guy. The only problem I have with it is that I won't be able to, finagle that song into his moveset, because I won't be able to stun people. and it also kind of removes Rage and Fear from being useful. So if you're not using either of those, then this is a great trinket, but otherwise, that spot might be more useful with something else. The next one we're going to go over is the Chained Heart. This is going to add 15% to his max HP, add 20% to his Blight Resist, 30% to his Bleed Resist, and 10% to his Disease Resist. In exchange, you are going to do 15% less damage. This is a very good defensive trinket. It kind of does all the things you need it to as a defensive trinket. It would be nicer if it had Death Blow, but in general, he has some other stuff that messes with that stat, so I'm not at all disturbed by it. The other rare trinket here is Creator's Protection. This is going to add 10% to your prot and minus 10% to the stress damage you're going to take. It's also going to give you 15% stun resistance at the cost of 6 speed. Speed is not a terrible thing for him to be getting here when you factor in that he's supposed to be this lumbering defensive unit that's going to guard you. So this 6 speed might not be a bad cost at all, and that stun resistance is going to help you in the case of Terrible Song. Speaking of, there's another quirk I should mention. Hard Noggin is good for stun resistance, and if you were going to go that way, actually it might be better for you to see if you can land the Prismatic Solidity on that unit, because it will be 25% instead. Let's go back to the trinkets. Okay, the Wanted poster is the last one I have on here. Plus 3% crit if in position 1, plus 10% prot if in position 1. In exchange, you're going to be taking 10% more stress and have a 5% less virtue chance. Now, the trinkets I recommend, if you're using them like I do, I got 3 on him again. I can take that one off. I usually bring this because of the stun resistance and speed. It's very, very good for him. But, in this case, the Obedience Helmet is the very rare trinket here. It's going to give him a 13% virtue chance, a 13% death blow resistance, and 15% stun resistance. In exchange, you're going to take 15% more stress damage. This is very good, both in that stun resistance way, so you can use Terrible Song, but it's also good for virtue chance. He does have some stress considerations, and so it's kind of nice to have a higher virtue chance with him. And the other one I'm using here, mainly because of those kind of considerations, is the Flame of Redemption. It's going to give 30% damage, an additional 17% virtue chance, in exchange for 15% less prot, and your death blow resist goes down by 20%. Now with this trinket, when you attack, you are going to have a 50% chance to add 10 to your stress. So this adds some stress ramping to him when he attacks, which I don't mind, especially when you consider that between these two trinkets I have a plus 30% virtue chance. Without mods addressing normal virtue chances, that means it's going to put you at, 55%, which is pretty good. It's not bad, and basically you can just keep doing that until he hits 100, see if he virtues, and if he does, you don't need to do anything. If he doesn't, you want to pull that stress off and then try again, honestly. But overall, this is how I'm going to equip him today. Let's see. We are going to, I believe I have a medium quest so I don't risk the lives of any of these guys. And we are basically going to go in here and see what we can do, showing off our dear leader. We might need 2 of these, I think. Let's see. We're going to try and show off all the moves. Not doing that.
is power in symbols. Collect the scattered scraps of faith and give comfort to the masses.
Alright, I like starting at the edge of a dungeon. This is great. I don't have to backtrack at all. Wish we got a scout, though. You know what? Here, let's take this fight. Alright, we only ran into 3 through here, so it could have been better. Let's see. 12. Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna go straight for it. Get that stress off me, yo. The dodgies! I found out the Antiquarian is very good for supplanting his low-end dodge a little bit. We're gonna start off, because I'm in rank 1, with heavy impact and see if I can knock a guy on his ass. That miss chance, man. Yikes. Well, that didn't work. But now that he's in rank 2, I can do something else on the second round.
Dazed, reeling.
Fuck you, man.
About to break.
Damn little bastard. Don't. I don't want you to have that disease. Okay, we're gonna steady shot somebody. I can hit you.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Oh, I can't reach him though.
Obliterated.
Great. I didn't know you go first. That's gonna change everything. Alright. Such a cool attack, and it brings up the riposte, which is a hella benefit.
Onslaught. Destroy them all.
Okay, well, let's just go into my normal tactics, I guess. Let's see. You're gonna be here. I think I can move you here and do most of the things, right? I'll move that and put that on. Then I can do half of the things. Yeah, we can make it work. Normally I like them in rank 2, and only pulling up into rank 1 if I decide to guard somebody, which is what I'm gonna do in this combat. No. Hit you with a blight, yo. Okay, well. The shake-up. I can point-blank shot the guy I want dead first now. That's nice. Oh, maybe not. Okay, well, we're gonna start with a terrible song. What a wonderful song! Even though, by definition, it's terrible. Oh, now I'm in rank 1. I like it. So let's end this guy. I want him dead. Okay, you, sir, are going to stress heal folks. Okay, let's activate riposte. We're going to actually heal everyone a bit.
A death by inches.
I didn't need all that damage. I didn't need it all. Okay, well, you're gonna stress heal you then. That ought to help. Okay, who is Creator? Let's do this. Let's guard the only one I really want to. The Antiquarian. There we go. You should be dead. Oh no, it's gonna take 2 turns. That's a 1 bleed. Never mind.
Confidence surges as the
Losing
enemy
track of what
crumbles.
my party is capable of, more or less. Let's go with this.
inspiration and improvement.
Alright, alright, alright. Well, phlebotomy is a waste. I will save it for next fight. I will phlebotomy round 1 in the next fight.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Wow. Okay. Let's get rid of you, I guess. I mean, it'd be nice to have this, but I'd rather have an invitation. I'm gonna have to get rid of these. Drink up. Alright. Oh shit, I didn't switch.
A fortune waiting to be spent.
Hey. Let's just do it. Why not? Except I didn't change his moves.
Eradicated.
That's what I thought. Okay, phlebotomy. Which looks amazing. It does the heal. It did blight 2 of my friends, which is unfortunate. Okay. Alright, we'll just take the dodge ourselves. It's fine.
Destroyed.
30. God. I want to see if I can land one of those giant hits. Okay. Let's start stress healing you a little bit. Could be very useful. We are going to... I didn't fucking heal his shit. Well, we're gonna stab you.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Alright.
A trifling victory.
Well, that is the normal
victory,
3 fights.
nonetheless.
However, I'm gonna see if I can land a heavy impact in actuality. We're gonna move you back a rank so that we don't have to worry about turn order. I want to land a heavy impact because they do bonus damage, you know? It was a lot like the point-blank shot of the Highwayman, but you got an extra rank you can target. Alright, motherfucker.
Annihilated.
Eat it. 31. That's insanity. Okay, a shuffle. Okay. And you. And I think I could probably kill this one with, yeah! Fuck yeah. Let's land another heavy impact. Damn it! So yes, it will make you look a fool sometimes, but it's overall a very potent attack. If you want to buff his accuracy, then he could really benefit from that.
Decimated.
Oh well. We have made this video go on long enough. This is the Rudiment. You should probably try him out. He's a great class. He's a lot of fun. He's got a lot of utility, and he's a very good tank unit. So, give it a shot. Let's see. We should be on track for normal video stuff next week. Back to a Let's Play on Wednesday and another guide coming out on Saturday. I hope you've enjoyed the change-up of 2 guides this week. It's not a normal thing I'm going to do. I just kind of wanted to give myself a little bit of a break. It takes less time editing than Let's Play does, typically, which is strange. But anyway, thanks for watching. Go ahead and hit subscribe. Give us a like if you wouldn't mind. And share this with somebody who you think is realistically going to bring us up to 1,000 subscribers. I would greatly appreciate it. You guys are always appreciated over here. Other than that, think that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay frosty.
Doesn't matter who's the master here.